The Philadelphia 76ers have a golden opportunity over these next few weeks to potentially find the next Justin Edwards on this Philadelphia 76ers roster. As we know, the Sixers signed Justin Edwards as an undrafted free agent last year to a two-way contract, and he has now signed a new 3-year contract extension with the Philadelphia 76ers. He didn't really have that great of a summer league, but the Sixers saw enough in him that they wanted to keep him around. They wanted to continue to develop him, and that has panned out for the Sixers in a big way. He's going to be a 20 to 25 minute per game type of guy in the Sixers rotation coming off the bench for them most likely this season. He'll probably get some spot starts as well when guys are injured and out of the lineup. But the 76ers over these next few weeks have the opportunity to find that next two-way player for the Sixers that will bounce back and forth between the G League, but hopefully finds himself in the rotation sooner than later for Philadelphia as Summer League is coming up here for the Sixers. It was announced today that Jared McCain will not be playing. I'm in full agreement with that. There's no need for him to play. We saw plenty from him last year that will eliminate the need to see anything from him. In his limited opportunities last year, about 20 games or so, he looked like a potential star in the making. I don't need to see him out there this year. Let that knee recover fully until October and get him back running. But you look at some of the more notable names here. Justin Edwards is playing. Another guy, all right, maybe see 1 or 2 games from him, get him some more opportunities to work on some isolation scoring, just show a little bit more of his game and the skill set that he's been working on this offseason. But I don't need to see that much of him. VJ Edgecombe obviously is going to get some time. The Sixers' latest number 1 overall draft pick. Number 3 overall in the draft, obviously. Number 1 first round pick. But Janai Broom, he's going to get a lot of time as well. But it kind of gets to the point where those guys are going to be on the roster. Those guys are going to have the opportunity. Dem Bona. Bona, I don't really think we're going to see that much of, maybe a game or two. VJ Edgecombe, I do expect to get some good run. Janai Broom, I expect to get some good run. Justin Edwards, maybe a game or two. But it's more so time to look at some of these other names. We saw them sign Hunter Salas to a two-way deal as well. Get some of these other guys some opportunity, some burn, and see what they can bring to the table. Jalen Hood-Schifino, see what he looks like in a little bit more of an extended role. Keve Aluma had a great year last year. Jalen Slauson, a player that I really liked coming out of Furman a couple years ago. But there's 2 specific players that I want to give shout-outs to on this summer Sixers roster. And it's a cool kind of angle for them. These are both guys that are from the Philadelphia area, grew up playing in the Philadelphia area, played some college ball in the Philadelphia area, and now they get to play for their hometown team in the Summer League. And I think they're 2 players that, could find themselves on a Sixers G League roster, on a two-way deal on the Sixers team next year if they play well. And those 2 players that I specifically want to touch on in this video are Jack Clark and Andrew Funk. We'll dive into them and what they bring to the table and what to keep an eye out for. As I said, it's a cool kind of story of what these guys have gone through and, being put in this situation. And it's a cool angle for me as well. That I grew up playing with these guys. I grew up playing against these guys. So it's really cool to see them have that opportunity to play for the Philadelphia 76ers, albeit Summer League, but that could parlay into, a bigger deal down the line, a two-way contract, an Exhibit 10 type deal, something like that. That gives them, an NBA shelf life a little bit more potentially and a chance to play for their hometown team. So the first guy I want to touch on, Jack Clark here, 6'8" forward, bounced around in college, had a knee injury coming out of his senior year of high school at Cheltenham, limited his first year at LaSalle there. But he plays a few years at LaSalle, NC State, Clemson, and VCU. He was a little bit all over the place, but a 6'8", pretty athletic forward, was regarded as a really good shooter in AAU in high school. You look at the numbers here, they didn't really translate that well to the college level shooting-wise. They kind of got worse from three-point range as his career went on. But this is a guy that can still knock it down, and I think he's got 3-and-D wing type of potential. I think he rebounds the ball really well for his size, too. About 6 rebounds per game he averaged over his college career. But he's a player that I think why we were keeping an eye out on him, besides the Philadelphia angle and the background of being a Philadelphia kid, is because I think he plays the game the right way. I think Jack Clark is a player that will fit in just with other really good basketball players, to put it simply. And you don't get opportunities to go play at LaSalle was a good spot for him coming out of high school. He was a bit of a late bloomer. But then he gets opportunity to play at NC State, Clemson, and VCU. You know, those are 3 legit programs. He goes to Clemson when they're on that Elite Eight team. Obviously played in the ACC at NC State, and VCU, one of the best mid-major programs in the entire country. So these coaches, these staffs took the chance on him and gave him the opportunity because I think he's just a really good, sound, fundamental basketball player that plays the game the right way. As I said, rebounds the ball well for a wing. Can be a streaky shooter at times, but he's not a guy that in this setting you're not going to give him the ball and be like, go get me 25, go get me 30. And I think that fits perfectly for him because there are going to be some guys like a Judah Mintz last year for the Sixers in the G League. He lit it up sometimes in the scoring column, but he did most of his damage in the G League this year. He's not the player that the Sixers need right now on a two-way deal. You have plenty of guys that are able to go get you buckets, and Tyrese Maxey and McCain there in the backcourt. They need a guy that, he can go in and defend another wing. He can go in there and shoot the 3 ball, if he's given the opportunity with an open look from the corner. And I think Jack Clark kind of fits that mold. So what he brings to the table is just sound, fundamental basketball play, and he's going to make the coaching staff happy, make his teammates happy, and I think fits right in. He's not going to try and do too much, and if he does try to do too much, that's going outside of his comfort zone, and I don't really think that's the type of player, he is at this stage of the game. So I think Jack Clark and just his overall basketball IQ and just being able to fit with a lot of other good players, I think it makes an ideal kind of situation for him to just showcase what he can bring to the table. And I think that rebounding, that defense, and the ability to be, a streaky shooter, he's got to clean that consistency up, but being able to do that, I think it's going to give him a good opportunity to potentially stick here and find a longer term deal with the Sixers, albeit a 2-way deal, a G League deal. I think he's got a really good opportunity here to make a name for himself. Next guy I wanted to get into, Andrew Funk, another really cool story, a guy that we saw lit it up on the national stage a few years ago, transferred to Penn State, but he has one of the best games in the NCAA tournament against Texas A&M. That was just an awesome thing to see, and he's now had a cup of coffee in the NBA. He's played with the Bulls for a few years, a few different instances, but he's been a pretty productive player in the G League for the past few seasons now. A shooter, flat out sniper, 9.7 points, 4.1 rebounds, 3.2 assists per game this past season. But you look at those averages, 2 years ago with, I think it's the Windy City Bulls, only shot 32.1%. But this is a 39, 36, 36% shooter from downtown. That's his calling card. We're not going to beat around the bush and say he's a great ISO scorer. He's going to be a lockdown defender. He's going to be a really good team defender. He's going to be balled in on that side of the ball, but he's not the most athletic player at this stage of the game. And I think he knows that. I think the Sixers coaching staff knows that as well. But what does Andrew Funk do? He shoots the basketball really well. He's got that ability to step up and knock down shots. There could be a game in the summer league where he goes off for six or seven threes, and I don't think it's going to surprise many people. He's going to be the guy running off screens and everyone yelling shooter. Everyone's going to be trailing him. What else can he bring to the table? What else can he do? Is he able to, hit that sidestep shot? Is he able to take a guy off the bounce if he's getting ran off the line? I think those are going to be things that he has the opportunity to showcase. But Andrew Funk's a player that I'm looking to potentially be one of the starters on this Sixers Summer League roster and have a great opportunity to find himself on one of those two-way deals. Get a G League deal with the 76ers here and be the best shooter on that G League team. Maybe fight his way up to the NBA level. But if the Sixers need some more shooting at, in the backcourt on the wing there, Andrew Funk has shown the ability to do that time and time again at the college level and has even done it in the G League as well. So having this opportunity, I think, is also for him, also for Jack Clark, and two guys to kind of keep an eye out for. As we said, the obvious guys are in there on that roster. Justin Edwards, Dem Bona, VJ Edgecombe, we're certainly going to have our eyes on. Janai Broom. Then you're going to get guys like Jalen Hood-Schifino looking to stick around in the league. Keve Aluma after having a really good last year. Mark Armstrong, a Villanova guy as well. Interested to see what he does. But, if you're looking for some deeper dives and some deeper storylines to watch for in the Summer League, and the Sixers potentially having, this golden opportunity here to get a cheap, affordable player under contract. Jack Clark, a real good team-first type of player that could fit in on the Sixers roster. Or Andrew Funk, a sniper from downtown. These guys are going to have the opportunity, and it's going to be a cool kind of storyline for everyone to be able to follow along with over these next few weeks. I don't need to see that much Justin Edwards. I don't need to see all that much VJ Edgecombe. Sure, I'd like to see, a good chunk, but Dem Bona, let's give some of these other guys the opportunity and see if the Sixers could potentially find another diamond in the rough here. But let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Any guys that have your eye as we head into Summer League that you're hoping to catch some action of and think that they could potentially stick on the Sixers roster. Let me know in the comments below. Please drop a like. Please drop a subscribe. We'll talk to you next time here on Sixers Digest.